Hey everyone, Mike here again with another episode of Forex Holy Grail Search, where together we're searching for the Forex Holy Grail. So let's get into it. First things first, the lawyers want me to show you this. I'm going to go full screen. Take a look, pause the video, read this. This is for educational purposes only. Trade at your own risk. Everything that you do is your responsibility, and so on and so forth. And let's move on. And today, we are going to be testing the snot out of ExpertMACD. It's a MetaTrader 5 expert advisor. And here's the cool thing about this. This expert advisor comes default with MetaTrader for free. It's automatically in the list of all the expert advisors you could use. And so I was thinking, now hear me out on this. I was thinking, what if the Forex Holy Grail actually comes default with MetaTrader 5 and you can just run it? And basically it's been under our nose the whole time. So we're leaving Camelot, trying to find the quest for this Holy Grail in the Forex markets. Let's check London. It's really close. Basically that's what we're doing today with the ExpertMACD. So let's get into it. Basically, here's the specs I did. I did 10 pairs, the euro dollar, the dollar yen, the pound dollar, Aussie dollar, dollar CAD, dollar Swiss, the New Zealand US dollar, euro yen, pound yen, and euro pound. Those are the 10 most popular Forex symbols. And then the other thing I did was the time frames I chose were 5 different time frames, 5 minute, 15 minute, 1 hour, 4 hour, and daily. Those are really popular time frames. I chose those. So the combination of the euro, the yen, cable, the Aussie, the loonie, all those times the number of time frames is what I set about doing. Another specific note is that I chose to do my leverage at 50 to 1 inside MetaTrader. And that's because, if you haven't already guessed, I'm American. And because I live in the land of the free with maximum individual liberty, I'm not allowed to trade in the Forex market above 50 to 1 leverage. It's not allowed as an American regulation. You'll see international brokers tout 300 to 1, 500 to 1 leverage. I can't do any of that. Now, if I'm going to backtest a particular expert advisor that recommends those settings, I'll backtest with those settings. But absent that, something like ExpertMACD has no recommendations. I'm going to choose 50 to 1 because I'm American, and I'm thinking a certain amount of you guys are American, so I figure, hey, let's do that. The other thing I'm doing is all of these tests for all of the combinations of the pair time frame combos is using a $1,000 initial deposit. So we're going to do $1,000, make some math really easy for figuring out returns and all that stuff later. And let's jump into it. Here's what the default settings look like. So I'm running ExpertMACD exactly as it comes out of the box. I just want to see what it does across all those time frames for the last year. And it's really the last year for me is July 5th, 2020 to July 5th, 2021. I'm always going to do time frames that are very recent back instead of trying to cherry pick time frames as I go. So there's that. Basically your basic MACD setup, recommended defaults everywhere, 12, 24, 9. Take profit at 50 pips, stop loss at 20 pips. So let's do that. Here is the results for running 1 year out on those 10 symbols, those 10 pairs, times all those time frames. The average profit for the 1 year for a combination of the pair time frame was negative $51, negative 5% return. So that's what you could kind of expect on average if you did all of those. The win rate was actually 28.58%. Interesting. Consecutive wins, losses. I'm also going to highlight this because I know some of you might be thinking out there, well, why don't you just double when you lose? Do something like a martingale strategy. This shows why that's a really bad idea. The average max consecutive wins was 4 in a row with this, and the average max consecutive losses across all those pair time frame combos was 15. So if you were doubling every time, you were totally going to go bankrupt in a martingale strategy using this. So I also want to highlight those stats. So anyway, 1 year results, but it's not all terrible because there were actually a few pair time frame combos that were profitable. So the euro, we've got the 5 minute, 1 hour, 4 hour, and daily were all profitable. The dollar yen, 5 minute and 15 minute were both profitable. Most notably, the 15 minute returned 10%, 10.14% over the last year. And the euro pound 5 minute interval was also profitable. So what I want to do is when I encounter profitable combos like this, I want to take them and run them out for a 3-year period. So that's what I did. And here's the results from running those pair time frame combos out for 3 years. The average profit, the average return was negative $111 over 3 years for those. And that is a negative 11%, 11.16% return over 3 years. The win rate was actually a bit higher, 30%. Consecutive wins losses, once again, 6 max consecutive wins in a row, 17 max consecutive losses in a row. So that's basically those results. But there was one shining star, and that was the Euro-Dollar daily combo. That was actually profitable on a 3-year run of ExpertMACD. $37 was the return out of a $1,000 initial deposit. 3.77% on a 3-year return. So that's like a 1.2 whatever annual return, not beating inflation. Not a lot to write home about. Win rate was higher at 32%. So I said, you know what? I don't want to leave any stone unturned. Let's run the Euro-Dollar daily on 5 years, and let's just see what it does. And so I set out to do that, and I waited for a really long time, because when you download real tick data, I'm not doing the estimated. I want quality at 99 to 100% for all these back tests. Take some time for MetaTrader to download all that data for 5 years. So for the Euro-Dollar, I waited, but only the best for you guys, because we're on this quest and we're gonna figure this out. If there's a Holy Grail out there, I wanna find it and tell everybody about it so we can buy private islands and Lambos and all that fun stuff. Let's see if we ever get there. So after much waiting, here was the results. So the Euro-Dollar daily for the 5-year results was a negative $36 return, negative 3.67% return on the 5 years. That's a negative, whatever it is, very small amount percent, negative annual return. Win rate lowered, 26%, consecutive wins losses, 513. Basically what I expected, law of large numbers, the daily ended up showing negative. And I think the reason why is that it took less trades, right? Basically the daily has less signals because there's only one signal per day versus like a 5-minute interval or something like that. So I think that's what kind of buoyed it for a while with profitability. However, you know, it wasn't much to write home about anyway. You definitely would not beat inflation. So I thought, all right, those are the default settings. Of course they don't work. We had to change the default settings. So the first thing I wanted to see is what happens if you shrink the risk reward ratio. It's 2.5 to 1. If you remember, 50 pip take profit, 20 pip stop loss. Let's shrink that down to be a 2 to 1. Let's go 20 pip take profit, 10 pip stop loss. Enter Percival mode. This is a 2.1 ratio. I basically am going to keep the MACD settings the same, but we are the Knights of the Round Broker. We are trying to figure out where the Forex Holy Grail is, sending in Percy. Percy's going to go in there and figure it out. Hey guys, if you haven't watched Merlin, that show, I don't know if it's on Netflix or Hulu. I binge watched it when I was sick one time. Really fun. Totally recommend it. And that's where this picture is from. But let's see what happens if we shrink that reward ratio from 2.5 to 1 to 2 to 1. So just showing you what the settings look like. This is what it is. Once again, same MACD, 20 to 10. Percival mode. Let's see what you got. 1 year results, average profit, negative $148 for the year and negative 14%. It sucks. It's pretty bad. The win rate, 29.29%, went up a little, kind of went up there. That's kind of to be expected, moving the take profit down. But the stop loss being moved up also kind of hurt it. Consecutive wins losses, 5 max consecutive wins on average, 17 max consecutive losses on average. Still terrible to martingale, and everything is, so don't do it. But we'll do it for backtesting purposes. And this strategy is not doing a martingale strategy on the ExpertMACD, but I'm just always saying it as a warning. And here's the other thing. Do you remember how when we did the default settings, there was actually a few pair time frame combos to run down 3 years? Yeah, there was nothing in this one. It was all negative, it was all bad, all red. But if we shrunk the risk reward ratio, what happens if we increase it? Let's go, we went from 2.5 to 1 to 2 to 1. Let's go now to 3 to 1 ratio. Let's kick up that take profit to 60 pips, stop loss to 20 pips, and let's run this out on the combination. So Percival Plus mode, we're sending back in, slightly different strategy, see if he can find the Holy Grail. Here's what those settings look like, just so you get a sense. 60 pip take profit, 20 pip stop loss, 3-to-1 risk reward ratio. What happened? 1 year results, average profit, negative $44 on a $1,000 deposit for the pair time frame combos for the year. Negative 4% average return. Win rate, 25.83%. Consecutive wins losses, 416. That looks really similar. So was there anything to write home about in the 1 year result? Yes, there were a few things. The dollar yen and the 15-minute combo, 11.35% return, which is pretty awesome for a year. The euro dollar 5-minute interval was profitable. The 1 hour interval, 8% profitability for the year. The 4 hour interval, 9.5% profit for the year. Euro pound, 1 hour was profitable. So let's take all those, let's run them out 3 years, and let's see how they do as we extend the trades and the time frame. All right, 3 results. On average, everything returned negative $29 and negative 3%. So yeah, not good. The win rate, 26%, kind of lower there. Consecutive wins losses, 619. There wasn't anything to write home about. There was nothing in here that I wanted to go to like that 5 year like we did earlier with the euro dollar daily. It just kind of everything craps out at 3 years, and that's kind of the average return. So those things that were profitable in a 1 year time frame, law of large numbers comes in. The trades, turns out ExpertMACD, not looking good. Not looking good. So what though? What happens if we increase the risk reward even higher? Let's go for a 4-to-1 because we had a little bit of a bump in terms of finding some profitability in that 1 year when we went 3-to-1. Let's leave no stone unturned. Let's turn Percy back in with laser eyes, this time Percival plus mode. He's going for 80 pip take profit, 20 pip stop loss, 4-to-1. This is what those settings look like in MetaTrader that I did, 12, 24, 9. You can see I'm keeping MACD exactly the same, just changing the take profit stop loss. Let's see how this sucker ran out. Percival plus with laser eyes. 1 year results, average profit, negative $39 on average, negative 3.99% for the year for the combination of all of those pair time frame combos. There's about 50 of them. Win rate, 22%. Makes sense that it went down. We're raising that take profit. Consecutive wins in a row, 3 on average. 18 consecutive losses in a row. Makes sense. We're kicking up that take profit, leaving the stop loss at the same 20 pip mark. So that's what that was, but there was some stuff to write home about. The euro dollar 1 hour time frame was 12.98%. The 4 hour time frame was 9.67% return for the year. The dollar Swiss 1 hour was 5.92% return on the year. The dollar yen 4 hour was a 5.38% return on the year. So you know what we do. We're going to take those and we're going to go 3 hours on them. And let's see what, 3 hours, 3 years on them. And let's see what happens. All right, look at this. What on earth is going on? 3 year results on all those combos. Average profit over 3 years is $18. Like we're making money on average. 1.81% return annualized on average. Win rate 22.29%. Consecutive wins 4, consecutive losses 22, looking the same. Okay, let's dig into this. How do we get to profitability? Well, it turns out for 3 years, the euro dollar 4 hour time frame on ExpertMACD with Percival doing a 4-to-1 risk reward ratio returned $212 over that 3 year period, or 21.29% return. It's like a 7% annual return is what that annualizes out to, which is pretty amazing for running an expert advisor. Really wild. The win rate was 25%, consecutive wins 5, consecutive losses 20. Did a little bit better in that regard. Okay, well, let's take this 3 year, and it's the only last contender. Let's run this out 5 years and see what happens. All right, 5 year results. Holy cow, it's still profitable. Profit $229 over 5 years on your initial deposit of $1,000. That's like $50 a year, $40 a year, yeah, $40-ish, and 22%, 23% annualized, not annualized. That's a 5 year return. So 23%. We're looking at 4 and change percent annualized return. Win rate was 23%, consecutive wins, consecutive losses, 5 and 21 respectively. what is going on? Honestly, like, I did not expect on the first video doing expert MACD straight out of the box with MetaTrader, we're going to get something profitable on a 5-year window. Now, granted, it's only 4.6% per year, but if you believe the CPI in US dollars, that actually beats inflation. That blew my mind. I had no idea what to expect. Looking further into it, that's what the balance curve looks like. The balance drawdown, the max balance drawdown was 9.1%, not super hot, and equity drawdown was 9.7%. This is 100% real tick historical data. So it's as high quality as we can get on a back test, and this thing has made money historically. Now, 4% return on the year is, not something to really be uber excited about, but it's consistently profitable. So I thought, okay, no stone unturned. We're going to run this sucker out at 10 years. We're going to extend the euro-dollar 4-hour time frame on Percival++ mode for 10 years of data. And that's what I did. And I waited a really long time for this one. Not 3 days, 3 days later. As SpongeBob would say, not that long, but hours. And the good news is now I have 10 years worth of data for the euro-dollar downloaded in my MetaTrader, so that should make backtests a little bit easier as we go forward and hit higher time frames. So let's get into the results. What happened on the 10-year results? Euro-dollar 4-hour Percival++ mode. Still profitable. Now, you could expect to make $27 on your initial $1,000 deposit. You'd have $1,027 at the end of 10 years. 2.74% 10-year return. So basically garbage. Like if we run this out longer, it's just going to go negative like the others. It just doesn't lose as much as the others. We found some type of combo in there that seems to have worked. But you can start seeing like it just is going to zero and it's going to negative over time. The win rate lowered 20.74%. Consecutive wins losses at 5 and 21. So running this out, it looked kind of promising, especially when you get like an amazing 21% return earlier on. You're like, what is going on here? But as you go over time, you start seeing, this thing is going to zero, even though that was the best pair time frame combination. So, final verdict. And I'm going to say final verdict, and you're going to ask me, why didn't you change the MACD settings? All right, I thought about that. And I thought about sending Galahad or whatever other night we want to send in and changing the MACD settings themselves. I really researched a lot trying to find what people do with expert advisors with MACD. And pretty much everybody recommends the 12-24-9. Like I see it everywhere. Basically everyone says just use the default. That's what it is. And I'll find some interesting things about swing trading or intraday trading, but really I couldn't find anything that made me want to spend the time to actually do all the back testing. So we're leaving ExpertMACD where it is. We've run it out all the way up to 10 years in some cases, and basically it is not consistently profitable. So is ExpertMACD, final verdict, the Forex Holy Grail, comes with MetaTrader by default? Yeah, that's going to be a big nope for me. As we ran it out longer time frames, even like the ones that beat the field and were like the best of the best, and we kept running those out longer time frames, even those failed. And overall, this is not. So first video doing these expert advisors, and I thought my mind was blown a little bit. Maybe I found one on the first video. Yeah, no, we're going to need to look a little bit further. This is a very simple strategy, ExpertMACD. It's looking for crossovers. It's not doing anything really that crazy in terms of money management and stuff like that. So I did not expect it to be profitable, but I wanted to test it anyway, because who knows, what if it was? And we did find things absolutely that were profitable in a 1-year time frame, but nothing that was consistently profitable if you ran it, really ran it out over time. So ExpertMACD is not our Forex Holy Grail. We're gonna have to keep looking. So I'm gonna have another video coming next week about what our next expert advisor we're going to go after. And if you could take a moment, if this was interesting at all to you and you like Forex and you kind of enjoy backtesting, or maybe backtesting some of the stuff you've wanted to at this scale but never really have, please like, comment, subscribe, do all those things, hit the bell notification, but especially comment. What I really want to hear from people is, what expert advisor do you want me to go for next? And I'll need the community's help because I'm only one person and I can only find so many of these things. And I want to test out as many of them as you can, because who knows, what if one that sells for $100 is actually consistently profitable? We owe it to ourselves to figure out if that's the case. Additionally, I'll have a link in the description below that has a zip file of all of my analysis that I did for this video. So you can go through that analysis, point out any places where I got the math wrong or did something wrong. I really would appreciate that. I'm doing my best as one person, but it's always helpful to have another set of eyes. And if you're that type of person that really wants to get engaged with this stuff and help me along the way, and as we try to keep backtesting and backtesting and backtesting till we find that Forex Holy Grail, if we ever do, there's also a link to a Discord, my Discord server, where we can chat about this kind of stuff and queue up the next videos and try to figure out what our next backtests are going to be. Thank you, everyone. If you've made it this far in the video, thank you so much for taking the time to watch. Happy pipping, everyone. Good luck out there. ExpertMACD, don't run it. Don't run it with your own money spending. It's just going to be a loser overall. And stay tuned for the next video.